Welcome to the Mesa, the City of San Antonio's official podcast, where everyone is invited to the table for real community conversations. If you caught our previous episode on the San Antonio Ready to Work program, you already know it's transforming lives across the city. If you missed that episode, we encourage you to listen and hear more about this amazing program in that previous episode. But today we focus on some of the industries that are really growing with opportunity. That's manufacturing, construction, and the skilled trades. These fields are expanding fast. Jobs are steady, and the pay is strong. Local companies and even some national giants are planting roots right here in San Antonio. The best part is that they are actively searching for homegrown talent. These employers need real people, real skill, and the training to get started is closer and faster than most people realize. I'm Luke Simons, Communications Administrator with the city's Workforce Development Office, and we invite you to settle in and hear about the pathways that are building San Antonio's future and how San Antonio Ready to Work is helping residents get there. We have a great panel to help us understand what is happening in the Alamo City when it comes to these opportunities. Mike Ramsey is the Executive Director of the city's Workforce Development Office. He helps oversee the voter-approved San Antonio Ready to Work program that helps our unemployed and underserved residents get the training and education that can lead to higher-paying jobs. Allie Perez is a workforce development and apprenticeship leader whose goal is to create opportunities that change lives while strengthening industries and communities. She also happens to be on the Ready to Work Advisory Board and brings a wealth of knowledge in workforce development. And Jim Robertson has 45 years of experience in the crane industry, which includes leading multiple high-level companies as a CEO and president. He is also a champion for workforce development and helping others with real pathways to careers. I want to thank you all for joining us. I'm excited to really have this conversation. I want to thank you all for being here. And I guess I want to open it up to the table because I think we all have a perspective of this. But what is it about these types of jobs that people may not understand? What do you think is the biggest misconception when it comes to construction, manufacturing, and the trades?
Well, the level of pay. It's the highest paying job available that doesn't require college tuition. We have so many apprenticeship programs that are not only multiple scholarship vehicles for that pathway, and multiple disciplines in the trades. There's been a stigma for years that we kind of are getting past, which is it's unsafe, it's dirty, you dig ditches. It's just not the case. And it hasn't been. And the last couple of generations that we feel we've lost due to the, incredible inability to get to the youth. Counselors thought that Bobby is going to be a doctor or a lawyer. And that climate has changed, and schools publicly have opened their doors, and we see thousands of kids every quarter and introduce the trades opportunities. And this generation coming that I spend a lot of time with, we're super excited about because they've seen their parents, and they want to use their hands. And you don't have to go through, the particular program that I'm very involved in has been around for years. You work and sponsored by an employer during the day, and you go to apprenticeship school at night. That's one. I give a commencement speech next week for 19 journeymen that graduate, and it's a very proud moment because their life changes. They go from no debt to over six figures income in one day, and it's powerful. And we've seen a lot of lives change. And of course, I've been in the industry a long time with cranes and rigging and trucking, and the programs are coming available are just very unique and powerful, especially with 195,000 Allie jobs we're short, I think, right now in this region or the state. The region we're short. My particular company, we're 74 short all over Texas, that we're continuing to work with firms like Mike, this program, in every vehicle possible. The number one problem that we face right now is the lack of apprenticeship. The schools aren't here. I'm leading the trades right now through concentrated effort to try to get a trade school in place for all the disciplines. Currently, it covers 3 or 4. It's not good enough. It's not big enough. And right now, we have the support of the industry with trade partners. My passion was to, during the day, the high school kids and even middle school, because I've been doing this with Boys and Girls Club now for 23 years. We put over 20,000 youth, at-risk youth, into trades from Florida, and now we do it in San Antonio. And now we're doing it in Austin, where we go in with tradesmen and women and work with the at-risk youth, and they put their hands and they work with them. They're mentored by them, and it works. So that's a small, there's 4,400 kids in that program on the east side. It's not enough, right? We've got to reach others. And we feel that when we get this apprenticeship school, we're very close to getting it put together, that we're going to be able to bring that youth in during the day. And the adults or vets are working during the day, sponsored or not, that they can go to this apprenticeship school, and in 4 years, 3 years, they have no debt, and they're picked up and paid handsomely with great benefits. And so we're excited about it. It's taken too long for the United States as a whole, but for this market, for sure. And this market's getting busier. And across the state, it's incredible opportunities.
We're very lucky in the state to be experiencing economic growth. I think other parts of the country may not be as lucky, but our state and particularly our region is very lucky. I would reiterate everything that Jim said. I mean, obviously, he's been a champion and advocate of this work for a long time. To provide some context, I used to run plumbing and HVAC companies for 15 years. I got licensed in those trades so I could manage my teams, and let's be honest, it was all men. So I started an organization that I ran concurrently, Texas Women in Trade, to bring more women into construction. But that's not enough. We also want young people. We want reentry populations. We want everybody to understand that this is an opportunity for them. So I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that this is less than work. It's less than college. It's not as good as. It's looked down on by parents, sometimes students, sometimes counselors, right? So how are we going to recruit if that's the culture and that's the mentality? That's one of the biggest misconceptions. And I think another, just specifically from my area, would be that women can't do this work or don't want to do this work. I've been told by people before, women don't want to do this, and then I look at them like, what am I? I'm a mother, and I'll tell you, as a mother, I have dealt with far more disgusting things than anything I encountered as a plumber. Anything at all. I'd take plumbing over motherhood any day. But you don't ask women, can they be a nurse? Can they lift a 300-pound man? Can they change his bedpan? Right? They just assume that they can be done, and it does get done. So I think there's some just general misconceptions, too many, I think, and which is why I'm really excited that you, Luke, and Ready to Work has provided this opportunity for people like us to get out here and say, this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to change those conceptions. You can look like us, right? You can have a really full, robust life without a college degree and still have a job with dignity and that is well paid.
And Mike, I want to bring you in because one of the great parts of San Antonio Ready to Work is that we're bringing people like this to the table so that other people understand within the city it is a possibility. Maybe it's a woman, maybe it's a veteran or a younger person, a second chance. Talk about why it's important that these fields are being focused on for the San Antonio Ready to Work program.
Luke, man, you did a great job picking panelists to be up here because Jim and Allie just, gave all of my knock it out of the park answers to, that question, the wages. Like I tell people all the time, the fastest way to the middle class, skilled trades, construction and skilled trades industry, for a really long time have been that avenue for people to jump into the middle class. No debt, apprenticeships, like it's becoming more in vogue again. But the apprenticeship model is the key to making sure that all the companies getting all the work done that they need to get done here in San Antonio, is they're investing in those apprenticeship pathways to make sure that they're growing their own talent. Vitally important to making sure that we have a strong base in our construction and skilled trades workforce. So when I think about what's happening in San Antonio in this moment in time, all the big projects that are coming, all the growth that we're seeing across the scale. You heard Jim talking about his company doubling in capacity over the last month, was it?
June.
June.
Wow.
That's amazing. right? So I think that, for a misconception that I would like people to understand about this industry is that the doors are open. You're welcome in. You're welcome in. No matter what your background is, no matter what your education level has been, there's a place for you in construction and skilled trades. There's employers that are ready to hire you. They're going to put you to work. They're going to make sure that you can grow in your career and you can take care of yourself and your family. And that's really what it's all about. So when we talk about, helping people in a city like San Antonio to become aware that these pathways exist for them and they're realistic and they're attainable and no debt.
No debt.
No debt. Like you can get there without debt through these apprenticeship pathways, through some of the skilled trade training programs that exist that are part of the Ready to Work catalog where you can get that tuition cost covered for you. The opportunity is now for you to grab hold of it and build and chart your own career path forward because there's no ceiling for you in construction and skilled trades. Like you can start as a general construction laborer, a helper, and work your way up. You can learn and figure out, okay, where's my niche? Is it electricity? Is it HVAC? Is it, being a millwright, a welder, heavy equipment operator? Where's my niche? Am I a plumber, pipe fitter type person? Where's my niche?
Passion.
Yeah, where is it at? And then you figure out which way you want to go. You have some great employers here in San Antonio that are going to invest in you and make sure that you get connected to a program that's going to get you where you want to be. So for us, I think that we have to do a better job of spreading that word so that it infiltrates the community and people know that the time is now to get involved in the skilled trades.
So Allie, I'm going to bring you on the next question because we talk about like the opportunities are there, businesses have a need. What does it take from a person who listens to the intro of this podcast already and says, this just sounds great. How do I get in? And the fact that maybe you do want a degree, maybe you don't want a degree. There's a lot of different ways. So what does a person just need to understand if this is something that they truly feel, this could be a possibility for me?
We are very lucky, I'll say it again, to live in San Antonio because we have a program like Ready to Work. So before Ready to Work existed and I was doing efforts with my Women in Trades organization, it was very difficult to try to be everything for everyone. So what the Ready to Work organization does is it puts the experts in the expert seats. As in it provides counseling, it provides career coaching, testing. You can get a benchmark of where you are on math and reading. You can get an assessment to figure out, hey, where are my skills? Where am I strongest? And what would be a good avenue to follow? So obviously, I'm a Ready to Work board member, and I'm here today on the Mesa podcast. But I'm going to say number one step would be Ready to Work. Just see if you qualify, even if you think that you wouldn't. I mean, it doesn't hurt, right? It's free absolutely to see. And even if you are not able to get through Ready to Work, the prime partners that comprise Ready to Work, because Ready to Work is that umbrella, and it really brings together partners from across the workforce development ecosystem. You've got Workforce Solutions Alamo, our local workforce board. You've got Alamo Community Colleges, which are local community colleges. You've got Project Crest and Restore Education that are workforce programs that are spoken about nationally, that are here at your doorstep. So even if Ready to Work you don't qualify or that ends up not being a fit, we still have a bevy of workforce development partners who are equipped and connected to these resources, to these employers to help you get those skills to move on. So, and worst case, you can always just find me on social media and I'll help find you. I'll help get you to where you need to go.
That's great. And Jim, I want to bring you in because I think there also needs to be an understanding from an employer's perspective that these people are going to be here. You've obviously said something needed to change and there's opportunity to go and find these people. So what do employers need to understand about giving those opportunities to train them up, get them in the right spots, and then hopefully you've got a person who wants to work for you for a very long time?
Right now, I'm on a profound mission to bring the trades, employers, trade partners together, get them on the same page. We know our pipeline already out there is Second Chance, veterans. We just did our second ever with the Texas Veterans Commission, hiring trade specifically, hiring event like Red, White, and You, but that's everything and we hire a lot of veterans. And they fit because of the team and, it's just a shared common goal, the small teams that are on these job sites. And I just want to add to Allie's point, we're seeing a trend, and it's been quite a while, boys and girls early on, 55% going into trades are females. Okay, so that's a pipeline that I love. You go to every job site right now in San Antonio, you're going to see a female, either apprentice or journeyman, and it's powerful. So the youth, obviously, to get them into apprenticeship school, the veterans, it's a real easy and second chance. Not everybody hires second chance, but a lot of trade partners do, including me. I have several. And so those are our pipelines. And unemployed adults, I mean, it still exists. You know, there's a number here. And there's plenty of opportunity. And the benefits, I mean, 100% paid for health care with life insurance, no deductible, no copay, no pharmaceutical costs.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's
Wow.
that's pretty good.
That's great.
At 6 figures plus,
Fantastic.
plus,
Great. Yeah.
it's pretty powerful. Their mom and dad probably don't have it,
Right.
or their brothers, and their uncles. So it's back. We're bringing it back. We're 35, 40 years late. You know, I've been the number one. 30 years ago, the number one initiative of construction was where are we get a future workforce. It was 59 then.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, now look at me. You know, we've got to do something, and it's now.
Yeah.
So this partnership, Michael, the community come together. We're bringing the trade partners together in organizations like the plumbing, like ABC. We all have to come together because there's nothing competitive.
That's right.
We've got a mission, and apprenticeship is the number one thing right now on my plan with the employers to get that funded, get that put together immediately, because we don't have time to wait.
Jim, you mentioned it. You've done a lot of work with veterans and at-risk youth.
Yes.
Allie, Second Chance is big for the Ready to Work program, and obviously women too. And then Mike, the San Antonio Ready to Work program, really helping people who may not be at an economic spot where they're, you know, in San Antonio where poverty is an issue. So talk about the availability that there is for anyone. It's not really a one size fits all type of thing, and you really can find what works for you if this is something you're interested in.
You're absolutely right. There's a broad array of jobs in the construction and skilled trade sector for you to choose from. You know, if you are a person who is into technology, it's evolving the construction industry right now. Like, you've got to have it. Like, you know, you look at what they're using drones for now in the construction sector, how they're using AI for design purposes now within the construction space. Like, it's not everybody. Like, listen, there's a wide array of jobs, no matter what your interest or your skill set is, for you to tap into within this space. And I think with the large amount of projects, we've already touched on a little bit, that are coming to San Antonio, those numbers of opportunities are going to continue to increase over time. And I love what Jim said about we've all got to work together to help to solve this pipeline issue, right? So making more people aware of all of these pathways that exist and the training programs and the employers that are going to stand by their sides and partner with them. Like, the coalition of employers that Jim is talking about is the key. It is absolutely the key. For any workforce development program to be successful and work and deliver outcomes for the employers, who they're built for, and to the community members who need an opportunity, is going to take a collaboration between the employer community that are, number one, committed to hiring. Number two, committed to informing what the skill sets are going to be necessary to get those six-figure jobs. Who are the training providers that they trust and know that the product coming out of those training programs is going to meet their needs? Ensuring that those pieces are in place is the vital role of our employer community, and them collaborating together to show that they're committed to the people of San Antonio is the key to success of any workforce initiative that exists.
And to bounce off of Mike's point a little bit when talking about, you know, employers, that is absolutely the backbone. And something I've learned from serving on the Ready to Work board is that we kind of, construction, manufacturing, we kind of break the traditional workforce development mode, which is go get trained and then there will be a job.
Yeah.
Our job is the training, right? It's on the job training. So you have the job as your training, which is great for an adult because you're able to bring home money while you're still able to learn, which is just, who can beat that? I was paying you to learn. But it is is very different, and I've had to be very vocal in the board meetings to say that this is not, you can't treat us like other industries. We're not IT. You're not getting an admin assistant to sit at a computer and do skills. We're really looking for a different set of skills. We're looking for, can you show up to work on time? Are you eager to learn? Do you have good energy? I mean, really, soft skills are really more important to us than, you know, some of the other, what you might think is more important. So I'll just take a moment to say that, you know, construction really does break that mold. So it's forcing all of us as workforce development professionals to think about this differently, because the way that it's been done before is not going to work. So we are heavily dependent on that employer voice to help lead that movement.
Kind of jumping off of that, I mean, you talk about you learn on the job, and you look at the amount of things that are happening within the city. We've got a huge airport that's being constructed. We're talking about a downtown sports and entertainment district. We've got major companies building even additional space on the south side. And then you also have local companies who have been here, who are invested here. So Jim, when you see that, do you think it should open people's eyes as to the reality? Like, this is something that's not just like has been here and we're not sure what's going to happen in the future. Like, these fields are getting so big in our area.
Absolutely.
There is a need.
And I'm here for a reason. You know, I left South Florida for a reason. This is the next international Mecca. This city has more potential than I've seen in a long time anywhere. What we're capable of becoming, and the right people are here for that. We've lost too many youth, you know, and I'm tired of seeing that. And just my time of being doing business in Texas since 2007, and now that I live here, constantly mentoring the youth. And I want to go back to a little bit. Any of those pipelines, whether it's Second Chance, high school, middle school, we mentor them all the way to veterans. The amount of job opportunities will find that passion. Yeah. They will find that their passion, because you just pick one of our disciplines, plumbing. Plumbing has a good 8, 9, 10 jobs inside that. Just like my world, cranes, rigging, truck driving, mechanics, you know, and then you have all this high tech stuff and the computers today that and the stuff that we're using 4D and what have you electrically, or with the operation of a crane, is unbelievable. It's not the same. It's a different talent than it was when I started in 1982. It's a bigger opportunity times 10, and it should be. But the companies are ready. But bringing this community and these organizations together and getting on the same plane is absolutely critically important for right now to meet those demands. Otherwise, we're going to continue losing, and companies are going to be stressed to make budget, to make schedules. And that's what we're facing right now. People don't grow. A lot of these companies for the last 7 years that I've seen it personally, because they can't find people. Well, the people are here.
Yeah.
Let's train them.
That's right.
It's time.
Yeah.
And let's look outside the box, right? So, like, considering women, considering Second Chance, considering youth, you know, I think a lot of times they don't see themselves in those roles, so they don't even try for it.
Right.
And that's the challenge, is that when women make up, NAWIC will say it's 10% of women, but that's across all of the industry. Actual tools, holding tools on the job, that's 3% of women across the country. So clearly, if we have a skilled labor gap, to me, that looks like a great place to go market for potential workers, right? And so, but we need to make sure that marketing, that recruitment, that those efforts and campaigns are speaking to them specifically. Because if they don't see themselves in the roles, they're not even going to try.
I'm going to kind of switch gears a little bit, because it was mentioned, you know, AI is obviously something that's hitting a lot of industries. This industry is kind of interesting because it is one that you hear a lot that AI is, it's not really one that's going to take your job. And so, Mike, I know it's been something that the city council and our mayor have talked about quite a bit. It's something that the program has really paid a lot of attention to. Just kind of talk about that a little bit and why these fields kind of fit for a lot of people who might be worried about that tech gap, you know, that's been happening in a lot of other areas.
Yeah, that's a very excellent point, Luke. And when you think about AI resistant occupations, because again, AI is going to impact everything, but AI resistant occupations, skilled trades, plentiful with jobs that are going to take a really long time for AI and the robots to begin to impact. It's going to take a really long time. So if you're thinking about choosing your career path, if you're a young person, skilled trades should be at the top of that list. There's a lot of unknown out there about what the impacts are going to be for AI. But we know you're going to have a great career, a long career in the skilled trades before those jobs go away or those jobs shift to something different. If you're somebody who is a mid-career person right now and you're starting to see some of your colleagues be impacted by some technology impacts through AI, man, it's a great time to shift and pivot into an area where there's a lot of growth. There's an avenue for you to learn skills and earn money through apprenticeships and do a mid-career shift into the skilled trades. Because again, there's a demand. There's a demand here. And if you got the aptitude and you're willing to learn and do something different, then regardless of what's happening in the AI space, there's jobs for you within the skilled trades.
I mean, we all use AI, but it is not going to replace this communication. It's not going to put the wall up. It's not going to operate my $11 million crane and put things over, workers' heads. It's not a reality in the next 2 lifetimes. No matter what manufacturer you talk to, you still have got to wire it. Nothing's going to wire it for you. Manufacturing, maybe more so, robotic. In our world, that's why I'm excited, because I think people are going to realize that as jobs go away, we fulfill them in a strong future with better income than the other options without, 100,000 in debt.
Perfect.
Zero debt.
I think it's interesting because I think a lot of people don't really realize how important these jobs are until it's something that you definitely need, right? If I'm at my house and all of a sudden my plumbing goes down, I need a plumber. And we've talked about there's so many different pathways for a person to take where you think you might be learning something, but that can turn into something totally different. Can you talk about just, the vastness of construction manufacturing trades, that there are so many different types of opportunities that honestly you can probably find exactly the type of work that you're looking for. It's really kind of interesting when you think about it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of options within this industry, and it's exciting. I actually have a very random story. I came into the construction industry. I found it by happenstance, and I came in as a marketer. So I ended up learning the trades because I just fell in love with it. I ended up leading teams and needing to know, but I'm a nerd at heart. I wanted to learn it, but I'd never been exposed to that. So, there are marketing, accounting. There are also other industries or other occupations within the industry, which makes it even more diverse. But you've got anything from, being the ones to turn the tools. People don't think about, glaziers or Mike said masons and millwrights. People don't think about these, or welding, the vastness just within welding, what you could be doing. You could be a maritime welder. I mean, you could be working on NASA. I mean, really, like the capacity for this is vast. And I think what's most rooted in are the skills. And I think those skills are stackable, they're certifiable, they're transferable. And that makes you an even more valuable worker and asset, right? You cannot take away your licenses from someone unless they did something really, really terrible and they should have it taken away. But that's something that you've earned. You've earned that, and that's not something that can go away. So yeah, there's a lot of diversity in roles. There's a lot of diversity in occupations. There's just a lot of opportunity within those industries. But because we just don't know enough about it, we haven't done a great job of sharing the benefits, the awareness, the types of roles. We've just done a poor job, which I think we're starting to turn around. If we don't increase the awareness, we are going to lose out on workers who are interested in doing these jobs. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to push people into this work. Right. It's hard work. You're spending long hours in the heat, under houses, in the mud, in worse. So it's not something you can just say, oh, we'll just direct people. No, people have to be passionate about this work, but they won't be passionate unless they understand what's out there and the options that are out there. I think Ready to Work does a good job of doing that.
And Jim, I know you've kind of touched on it, but you've been a part of the Associated Building Constructors, ABC, and the importance of an apprenticeship. And I know we've talked about it a little bit, but in many of those circumstances, you're getting paid while you're learning.
Absolutely.
There's so many degrees or whatever it might be
With zero
where
tuition.
that is not happening.
Right.
I'm getting paid as I learn.
Yeah. Not hardly anywhere. I have so many success stories, and I was state president of ABC in 1996. Right. I've been involved with apprenticeship for a long time, and I have seen so many lives changed in 2 years, in 3 years. People that came off the street, but they had attitude, right? And they would show up. And, to be on time in our world is to be early. And they, attitude equals altitude. They just need mentoring. And they found their passion. And it may not be, my trade. It may be her trade. It may be, there's, 20 disciplines plus. That are significant opportunities, and each one of them have significant jobs inside that. Some of them, like she said, accounting, everything. Every company has everything.
Yeah.
That you have at any company. But when you find that passion and you achieve that result in unity with a team on a job site, and you drive by that for years, son, I did that building.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. And then the passion, didn't forget about it. They're there. We got them. And so there's just countless. We just elevated a young man that was came off the street, got him a CDL, got him trained. We have a millwrights company. He learned rigging, and he had a passion to be a crane operator. He's running a crane right now. He's running a 40-ton crane. In less than 4 years, and he's making a lot of money, a lot more than I did. So it's just endless, the opportunities.
Can I nerd out about apprenticeship for a second?
For sure.
I just have to, because I think we've done a lot of grounds that we're talking about apprenticeship, like people know what that is. And I think one of the biggest challenges is people don't know what that is.
Agreed.
So apprenticeship
Good
in
point.
general, just like a 101, is most of these skilled construction trades require this on-the-job training. So apprenticeship is that time. And so to become a licensed plumber, a licensed electrician, a journey level worker with a license, you have to acquire a certain amount of hours on that job. And for us, it's 8,000. That typically takes about 4 years. Sometimes it takes people 5. Depends on the trade. It depends on, the
Overtime.
state.
Right.
It depends on a few other things. But you're typically looking at about a 4-year commitment of working at a company. And then also, depending on the company, you could be involved in a program like a registered apprenticeship program, like what ABC has, where you go to school at night. So I did this too for a few, I was pregnant, where you work all day, and then a couple of nights a week for a couple of hours, you go and you study the book knowledge, if you will. This is very important for people who are in the trades. Most of them didn't like school. And so having this time to not just depend on your journey worker, who may also not have liked school, to teach you, but to have someone there who can help you with the basics in the math, the code, the requirements, because there are quite a few, it is health and safety, to help you get through that. So you do that for 4 years. You go to night school a couple nights a week for 4 years.
But you're working.
But you're working also at the same time.
Like
and
you
so
did.
you're
And getting paid.
And
Right.
when you come out, you have this amazing license and this ability to take on the world. So I think that model is very important to illustrate how that works. More importantly, this model has been around for millennia. Jesus was a carpenter. Okay, so we're not doing this because, hey, it's been a long time and we don't know. We're doing this because it works.
Yeah.
Because it works. And I've actually seen on the job, you think that the masters in the journey are the only ones teaching the apprentices. We transitioned while I was at a local plumbing company from doing paper invoices to iPads. And let me tell you, those young apprentices sure were helping those older plumbers learn that iPad.
We just went through it.
Right, and so it's a really nice sharing of knowledge, because the elder, the senior, is able to pass down knowledge, but also the younger, the youth, the apprentice, is able also to pass up more pertinent knowledge that
blow
might
right
be
by 'em.
right.
We're going
so
through it right
together,
now.
they're a dangerous combination. So there's a reason that this apprenticeship model works. Why we're such advocates for it. Why recreate the wheel? We have something that works. Let's just go implement it.
And I think it's important to let people know, like, I know we talked about it before we came out here, but you're not in debt when you end up finally getting to that point where I can go and work and do this full time. You can do the two at the same time.
Absolutely, Luke. You're absolutely right, man. And I know we've been talking a lot about construction, but in manufacturing, there's some great apprenticeship programs that exist here as well. Toyota, you guys may have heard that announcement of their expansion recently. we're super thankful for that. 2,000 more jobs here in San Antonio. They've got a phenomenal partnership with Alamo Colleges in their Texas Fame initiative that they've overseen for about 10 years now, I believe, here in San Antonio, helping to make sure that industrial machinery maintenance technicians do that 2-year degree program where that book knowledge classroom instruction is happening through. And then also getting the on-the-job learning at the Toyota and the suppliers that support Toyota so they can get their hands-on experience and applying that book knowledge. So those pathways are going to be critical for our manufacturing space for the Toyotas of the world. The JCBs of the world are hiring right now, 1,300 people. Go to their website if you're looking for work, because we've got to make sure that they get the folks that they need. And Ready to Work is helping to supply that pipeline. We had an apprenticeship Building America grant from the Department of Labor that helped us set up the local apprenticeship program for JCB here in San Antonio. So we're excited to see some of the fruits of that labor bear out as they begin to do that hiring of those individuals here in San Antonio. There's a Texas Fast Track program that Bexar County runs for manufacturing, for maintenance technicians. That is a pre-apprenticeship model that can feed into the apprenticeship model over at Texas Fame. We've got a lot of jobs here in both construction and manufacturing that the apprenticeship pathway is going to be a critical tool in preparing people for.
Jim and Allie, we're kind of running out of time, but I want to give you both an opportunity. What do you tell a person who may be on the fence or not understanding? What do you tell a person who's saying, I need a new opportunity, I'm looking for it, why this is a good fit? And then also just what you tell an employer of why they should invest in this and the people like this as well.
I'm a big proponent of, I even tell my daughter, ever since my daughter was born, I've talked to her about skilled trades, right? And the skilled construction trades pathways. And we were recently traveling and she says, she's excited to learn the trade pathway. And she goes, you know what, Mom? Either way, I'll have those skills. So I can either choose to go to college or I can choose to do my trade, but I'll be able to work on my own house and fix my own problems.
Brilliant.
At 11.
Brilliant.
I wish I would have been recording her. It's that time where you're like, hey, my phone's always listening to me, right? Did you catch that? But and that's just the kind of, exactly. And that's just from growing up with a culture of this is exactly right. You want to help your community. You want to build skills. There's not an all or nothing.
Yeah,
you don't have to go to college or this.
Yeah.
I did both.
So both of
And for me, I'm going to tell you, I think I'm more lucrative on the trades perspective than I was from my super expensive NYU degree, just to be honest with you. So, I think if there's an interest, absolutely pursue it. Take a class. I know that, local like Home Depots have classes. I know Ready to Work has some preliminary like pre-apprenticeship type classes where you can just go play around with tools, see if it's something that you like. Just do it. Give it a chance. Because even if you go and you get this and you decide that might not be for you, you always have that skill.
Yeah.
You always have that skill. No one can ever take it away from you. And you're just a much more valuable human and member of the community for it.
And that's why I like these discussions with Alamo Colleges. They've got some programs, but we see a lot of tradesmen and women, I don't want to go to college, okay? But they have some conduit that works for both. So the partnership between SA Ready to Work, Workforce Solutions Alamo, Associated Builders and Contractors, and other trade organizations coming together to display and get this apprenticeship off the ground will really give the youth, a good menu that they won't even realize. When we grew up, especially us older guys, but she spoke to it. Allie spoke to it eloquently. My grandfather, my uncles, they all knew how to do it. Something, lay floor, electrical. Everybody had their thing. My grandfather was, a big plumbing company in the middle of Kansas. And then today, a lot of they don't know how to do anything. And to your daughter's hats off, because that's it. She's gonna have soft and hard skills and be able to do things and not rely, when the toilet doesn't work, she's gonna fix it. And it's exciting to see this in the generation I'm seeing. I saw about 6,000 high schoolers in fourth quarter. We're getting ready to do another big one at Freeman, and we do a road show right now where we go to high schools with all tradesmen and women in their disciplines, not suit and tie, and talk straight up. And just like we do Boys and Girls Club, and I see a really good group coming out. and the veterans, they didn't know where to go.
Mhm.
We have this like pipeline that's broke. Why I don't know how it got to that in this city,
Yeah.
veteran capital of the United States.
Yeah.
They don't know where to go.
Yeah.
So the more events we can do and show them, we're at 30%. That's high. I would think that all of us should be 30% because it's such an easy, coming out of the military with team and they want to be a part of something and they get isolated, whatever. We fix all that.
Yeah.
The mentoring's just powerful. So I could go on and on about
Yeah,
that.
I think everybody here could.
Yeah.
And then, Mike, I just want to last question for you: why people who are listening should look at San Antonio Ready to Work? Whether you're a participant or an employer, and why this program is important to them, and what they should be looking for when they reach out, or if they're looking for that next opportunity.
Ready to Work is a conduit for opportunity. Whether you're a veteran trying to find your way as you transition out of active duty into civilian life, our partners, our career navigators, they can help get you on the right path and connect you to a training program and give you the skills you need to be more valuable here in the community. If you're somebody who's justice impacted, we've got some phenomenal partners. Goodwill has an amazing construction boot camp geared towards second chance
Right.
that can help you get skills, get exposure, and get connected to employers who are open to hiring you, like Americrane.
Yeah.
We got something for everybody. If you're a young person, you're graduated high school back in May, June, and you're trying to figure out what your next step is, guess what? Ready to Work can help you to find your pathway and help you get the cost of that training covered while you get connected to your future career path. If you're an older adult who you're feeling the crunch of increased expenses and now you're looking at getting back into the workforce, guess what? We're here for you too. So no matter where you're at on that continuum of your life, of your career pathway, there's an opportunity for you in Ready to Work to get support, to get a coach that can help you on your journey, to get the support that you need to overcome any barriers that you're facing and get you on the right path. That's what Ready to Work is here to do.
I think it's most important that everybody listening just knows the opportunities there. If you're looking and you need it or want it, the opportunities are there. Allie, Mike, Jim, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks, Luke.
Thank you, Allie, Jim, and Mike. We also want to thank of those of you that have tuned in for this episode of La Mesa about the San Antonio Ready to Work program. If you would like to learn more about San Antonio Ready to Work and what it has to offer, we encourage you to go to readytoworksa.com, or you can call 311. Whether you're a resident looking for that job opportunity or an employer that wants to know how you can get involved with Ready to Work, readytoworksa.com is your best resource. At La Mesa, everyone is invited to the table, and if you are interested in some other episodes, you can catch those on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, and the City of San Antonio YouTube channel.